I've heard a lot of really positive things about his addition to the staff, and I think he's definitely brought a lot to the special ed programs here. So we were very grateful with his addition. We also got to have visitors from all of the high schools. The principals came from each of the high schools and the program coordinator from Jesse Thackeray, and so we each got some what we felt like some close, good conversations with them about what was going on in the schools and how they were supporting our students. And we also were able to have, we got to start our year off with Lisa and Jeannie coming to go over the division placemat, which was also very nice to kind of review all of that with us and talk it through with us in terms of all the information that was on there in the direction of the district. So let's see here. Then one of the things that we have been making a point to do is to go visit all of the schools. So our meetings were definitely spread out through the city. So we were able to do that and very much appreciated the tour of the new Mount Daniel. That was really cool to see and very nice to see the kind of, how everything finally worked out. It's lovely, and it continues to make us super excited for the new addition with the new high school. I think it's going to be incredible and a great addition to the city. So thank you all. Everyone is very grateful for the work that everyone's put in and getting that ready to go. So let's see here. One of the things that we were in big support of this year was the addition of the ASL class. And we had a committee member, Valerie Budney, who really kind of took the lead on that, with all of us standing right there with her, behind her, cheering her on. But she was definitely our spokesperson and reaching out to members of the school board and the principals at the schools to kind of talk it up and continue to push for that. And we're again, very excited about that. I think that's going to provide a lot of opportunities for our students with disabilities to be able to try to go for that advanced studies diploma. The language oftentimes can get in the way when you struggle with reading and writing in your own language with your learning disabilities or whatever disability that it is that is your challenge. To be able to have that opportunity, I think will be great. Also, the youth mental health first aid course that was offered, that was absolutely incredible. I can't get over the involvement from both the staff and the community. I think it was over 100 people that participated, both parents and staff, and we have classes that are going to be held again in the fall. The interest is obviously there. We all know that the concern is paramount right now with our children and daily struggle. And a lot of times it's hidden. And so being able to have more people that are aware and know how to support the students, and for the students to be able to see that green lanyard and know that there's somebody that they can reach out to. You never know when your turn's going to come and that they're going to come calling. So expanding that reach, I think, is critical to the mental health of all of our students. So that was definitely something that we're very proud to support. And then the critical decision-making points that the VDO has put together for students or for parents of students with disabilities. That is also a great offering from the VDOE. The supports and the trainings that come from the VDOE are incredible, and they're so willing to be able to come out and spread information and share it and help with training and help with support. And I know Rebecca has been able, I think they're going to be coming here to be able to offer some of that, or they did train the trainer, that's what it was, train the trainer, so that we can offer that to our community here, so that not everybody has to travel. So 4 staff members were trained to be able to do that, and also good information, trying to expand our reach to the community and talking to parents and helping them to be informed when they come to the table and be able to know how to ask questions and what those questions should be, and maybe not feel so lost in what can be a very overwhelming process, and overwhelming from start to finish. It doesn't matter if your child is identified with a disability when they are in elementary school or preschool, or if they're identified in high school. Along the way, the needs and how they change and what the parents need to know to be able to support their students. So this training, I think, will be very beneficial to our families. And then, let's see here. Oh. Just then our what we'd like to look forward to for next year. So we did have the presentation last year on executive functioning, and we'd like to continue to explore that. It had a lot of people that attended and had a lot of interest, and that still continues to come up at our meetings of an area of concern. So we would like to be able to kind of continue to keep a focus on that and maybe find some more ways to share information with the community and reach out to the staff, and how can we connect the actions and the supports that the staff is doing in the schools, kind of take homes that the parents can be able to use and support their children, so it's consistent from the school building and then on the home front. When you can streamline that and share that information and they can work together, it definitely seems to be a lot more successful. So again, just ways that we could maybe work to encourage more of that. We would also like to see if there's a way to stretch our Best Buddy program. It's incredible. But we would like to see, I know Best Buddies doesn't work in the elementary, but what could we do if there's something that we could kind of come together to incorporate the students at the elementary level with what's going on with our Best Buddy program, whether it's connecting them to certain events or doing our own unofficial junior Best Buddy program. I mean, we're trying to kind of talk through ideas, but that's also something that we'd like to kind of consider moving forward. And then last is we will always continue to put a plug in for Parent Resource Center. So continue to keep the focus on that and hope that we will be able to expand on the one that you've gotten started this year to include our students with disabilities and their families. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Yes, Ms. Litton.
I just want to say thank you to Jenny for her leadership this year. She's been really great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so now we will go into our first closed meeting. Would someone please read us into close?
Madam Chair, pursuant to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, I move that the board convene a closed meeting for the following purpose: to discuss or consider the identified subject matter, personnel under Section 2.2-3711A1, in particular staff appointments, staff reassignments, staff resignations, staff retirements, staff performance, staff separation, staff change in position, non-reappointments, child care leave, long-term medical leave, and leave of absence and advisory committee appointments, and student matters under Section 2.2-3711A2, in particular, a request for a waiver of tuition under Policy 9.21, anticipated residence.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Litton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, this should be fairly brief. We'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Reconvene to our open meeting. Would someone please move to do so?
Move to reconvene to open
Thank
meeting.
you. Mr. Castillo, is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Webb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good. Opposed? No one's opposed. Okay, would someone please certify the closed meeting?
Whereas the Falls Church City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3711B of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the Falls Church City School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirement by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Litton. All those in favor? No, we're doing the roll call. Thank
Mr.
you.
Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Castillo?
Aye.
Ms. Gill?
Aye.
Ms. Litton?
Aye.
Ms. Russell? And Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda. I would seek unanimous consent to approve the consent agenda as presented. Great, thank you. Next, Section 8.01, our SEE application review.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to as she's walking up, Carly Aubrey, who has been our project manager for the West Falls Church site, along with her co-partner there, Robin, from Jan Hoffman, tonight is going to update the school board on the most recent site plan and the most recent approval that they're moving forward with. So I thought it was good for you all to hear this tonight and to make sure that you're in the loop. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Carly.
Okay. Good evening, school board. I want to give just a brief description of where we've been and where we're going, and then I'll turn it over to Robin to walk through the revised submittal and some of the key changes that have been made. Back in February is when the city council referred the first submission out to boards and commissions and the school board. Since that time, we've received a lot of comments and have been in communications with Fairfax County. And so based on comments received from staff and boards and commissions, school board and Fairfax County, we have the revised submission that you'll hear more about in a minute. So the current schedule for that is to, after tonight, have a board and commission targeted community meeting tomorrow night. Boards and commissions are the targeted audience, but it is a public meeting, so anybody is welcome to attend, and that'll be a detailed walkthrough of this plan. And then on Monday, June 17th, the Planning Commission will make a recommendation to the City Council on the plan. And this City Council is scheduled to have a work session on July 1st, and then also an action hearing on July 8th. In addition to the SCE application, we're also bringing forth revised plats and land transfer documents because, as you'll see, the changes to the plan necessitated some changes to the lot lines. So those are occurring simultaneously as well. And the Planning Commission will take action on that revised plat Monday, and then the council will take action on the land transfer documents July 8th. So at this point, unless there's questions for me on any of that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Robin to walk through the plan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin Betterill with P.N. Hoffman, and thank you all for having us here tonight. So I will try to be relatively brief, as I know some folks in the room have already seen the new plan, but feel free to pause and ask questions at any time. So here's the overall new site plan. I'll just sort of walk through the changes, and if anyone has questions, you can let me know. So this new plan was sort of born of a number of comments that we received during the public comment period from various boards and commissions, including the school board, and as well as comments received from our neighbors in Fairfax County. It was, I think, one of those situations where a potential problem turned into an opportunity, and we actually feel like this new plan has some distinct advantages over the old plan and was able to really well respond to a lot of the comments and concerns that we heard from your body as well as the other boards and commissions. So the biggest change with respect to the school is that the shared parking garage, formerly located on the sort of I always get my directions confused on this, but the western portion of the site is now back to a surface parking lot. And that's the most significant change, I think, impacting the schools. The other big change is that we moved the senior housing building, which is slated and continues to be slated to be the tallest building on the site at somewhere between 12 and 15 stories. That was previously located on Block B, right there in the middle of the left side of the plan, and that has now been moved over to Block D at the sort of upper right corner of the plan, adjacent to the above grade garage there. So I think that's a big improvement as far as the schools, as getting that taller building as far away from the schools as we could manage in phase one. Another big change, or a couple more bigger changes, phase two is now broken up into two separate areas instead of all being in one zone. The office for Phase 2 is now next to the Phase 1 office, which we really like that change. It puts the office right on the prominent Route 7